you've talked to Eric Weinstein. He has a sense that growth, like the entirety of the American system is based on the assumption that we're going to grow forever. The economy is going to grow forever. Do you think economic growth will continue indefinitely, or will we stagnate?
I've long been in agreement with Eric, Peter Thiel, Robert Gordon, and others that growth has slowed down. I argued that in my book, The Great Stagnation, appropriately titled. But the last 2 years, I've become much more optimistic. I've seen a lot of breakthroughs in green energy and battery technology. mRNA vaccines and medicine is a big deal already. It will repair our GDP and save millions of lives around the world. There's an anti-malaria vaccine that's now in stage 3 trial. It probably works. CRISPR to defeat sickle cell anemia. Just space, area after area after area. There's suddenly this surge of breakthroughs. I would say many of them rooted in superior computation and ultimately Moore's law and access to those computational abilities. So I'm much more optimistic than, say, the last time I spoke to Eric. I don't know. He moves all the time in his views. I don't know where he's at now.
He hasn't gained. That's really interesting. So your little drop of optimism comes from there might be a fundamental shift in the kind of things that computation has unlocked for us in terms of it could be a wellspring of innovation that enables growth for a long time to come. Like Eric has not quite connected to the computation aspect yet to where it could be a wellspring of innovation.
But you're very close to it in your own work. I don't have to tell you that. The work you're doing would not have been possible not very long ago.
But the question is, how much does that work enable continued growth for decades to come?
For all their problems, some version of driverless vehicles will be a thing. I'm not sure when. You know much better than I do. Maybe only partially. But that, too, will be a big deal.
Well, one of the open questions that sort of the Peter Thiel school of area of ideas is how much can be converted to technology? How many parts of our lives can technology integrate and then innovate? Like, can it replace healthcare? Can it replace the legal system? Can it replace government? Not replace, but make it digital and thereby enable computation to improve it, right? That's the open question, because many aspects of our lives are still not really that digitized.
There was a New York Times symposium in April, which is not long ago, and they asked the so-called experts, when are we going to get vaccines? And the most optimistic answer was in 4 years.
Yeah.
And obviously, we beat that by a long mile. So I think people still haven't woken up. You mentioned my tiny drop of optimism, but it's a big drop of optimism.
Is it a waterfall yet? I mean, is it just...
Well, here's my pessimism. Whenever there are major new technologies, they also tend to be used for violence, directly or indirectly. Yeah. Radio, Hitler, not that he hit people over the head with radios, but it enabled the rise of various dictators. Yeah. So the new technologies now, whatever exactly they may be, they're going to cause a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And that's my pessimism. Not that I think they're all going to slow to a trickle.
When was the stagnation book?
2011.
2011.
Yes. It was the first of the stagnation books, in fact.
It's very interesting.
But even then I said, this is temporary. And I was predicting it would be gone in about 20 years' time. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that's exactly the right prediction, like 2030, but I think we're actually going to beat that.
So you think the United States might still be on top of the world for the rest of the century in terms of its economic growth, impact on the world, scientific innovation, all those kinds of things?
That's too long to predict, but I'm bullish on America in general.